Greetings. I have a problem. For the last few episodes, I have been working on this giant hole. It started as a place to build this lifelike statue of myself, but it quickly evolved into a giant cave base that I built on the inside and these really cool custom mountains that I built around it, which leaves us with this. A giant wall that I need to do something with to make this area look not like a giant ugly hole. So here's the plan. Build an enormous dam, make the dam be fully functional with floodgates and everything, make sure it looks awesome, and build a farm for squid. Because I need it, and every build I do should have some farm or other purpose tied to it. So with that, let's get started. This project is going to be pretty massive. So to make it more manageable, I'll break it up into 3 phases. Get all the materials, build all the machinery, fully detail the entire thing, and then at the end, we'll give it a test. So let's begin phase 1. By far, the most abundant block in the entire build is going to be andesite. 35 shulker boxes to be exact, so let's get that first. I had about 10 boxes in storage, so I grabbed those, and then I didn't want to spend a ton of time mining for more, so I hit up my gold farm to see if I had a lot of leftover quartz that I could use for crafting, which I did. But there's also a lot of quartz blocks in the build, so I need it for that. I'll just come back and AFK run the farm overnight after I grab everything else. So next on the list is 18 boxes of stone and 8 boxes of deep slate. Luckily, I have a built-in way to get these blocks because I have to dig a giant hole in the wall. That's going to be very important for the inner workings of the dam when we get to phase 2. Basically, the dam won't just be a big wall holding back the ocean, but also a high-tech power facility to generate power for my world. Not literally, obviously, I'm not playing create mod, but I like having world building kind of baked into the builds themselves. Makes the world feel more alive and adds more character. While I was digging, I was also able to get a few other items that I would need. Diorite, some of the andesite, smooth stone, cobblestone, chiseled stone, tough, and cobbled deep slate to craft into all the different types of deep slate blocks that I'm gonna need. Then, once I got everything I would need to mine for the build, I took a break from digging to get the rest of the stuff. Next of which was bone blocks, easy to get thanks to my wither skeleton farm. Then, light gray concrete powder, sea lanterns, and then gray wool. For gray wool, I had to manually dye all the sheep in my wool farm because it was running way too slow if I had the colors spread out amongst all the sheep. I really just need to build 15 more of these sheep farms for all the colors. But for now, this is the best option. While the sheep farm ran, I grabbed some gray glazed terracotta, then I needed tinted glass. Luckily, like 2,000 days ago, I carved out a geode under my base to be able to harvest whenever I needed exactly this. Very proactive of me. Once I got the glass, I grabbed some netherrack, and then I needed 5 shulker boxes of mangrove logs. Doesn't sound like a big deal until I remembered I don't have a farm for this yet. I probably would have saved time going out of my way to just build one, but I have a future video planned where I want to do that already, so I decided just to mine through the annoying mangrove trees manually, which took forever. After literally hours of mangrove mining, I got everything. With the wood collected, next I grabbed a bunch of different redstone components that I would need for all the different machines to make the dam actually function. Then I picked up the gray wool from earlier and went to bed, in real life, for the day, leaving my gold farm running overnight to get the rest of the quartz and andesite. Good morning, or whatever time it is for you. We got all the materials, and now we just need to move them to the build site. So grab some chests, set them all up, move some shulkers over, do that 2 more times, destroy some leftover shit from last episode, grab more redstone components for something really important, and okay, we got everything. Before we get to building, I want to set up the items in a way to make them easily accessible, so I don't just make a giant big chest monster mess that's impossible to sort through. I build a lot of big projects, obviously, and this is the most consistent problem I run into. So this will be my first attempt at really solving it. Usually, I just lay the boxes out in a neat line, and then put one of the blocks in front of the line to denote which item is in that line of boxes. But the problem with that is sometimes I have way more of one item than another, so I get these super messy lines that take up a lot of space. The solution to that is this, a manual shulker box unloader. When the box in the machine gets fully emptied, it breaks and replaces it with another one. Very simple. So I built 15 more of these little machines, filled them with boxes, and put the rest of the items that didn't quite fill an entire shulker box into these chests. This should make building a little bit easier. With everything set up, I was bubbling with excitement to get building when I remembered I forgot to get the materials for the squid farm. That's it's kind of important. Okay, now everything is set up, and the very last thing to do is finish mining out the hole from earlier. It has to go all the way down to bedrock, and it seems like this would take forever, but with just 1 block of moss and a whole lot of bone meal, I can drill through all the deep slate almost twice as fast as I would be able to otherwise. And I need this moss too to cover a lot of the exposed bedrock later on. So after just a few hours of mining, the rest of the hole was dug out, and phase 1 was officially complete. To begin phase 2, first I want to build out a little frame for where the dam is going to be, so we can kind of track our progress as we fill it out. So, boop, and there we go. Now, to kick off the building, I'll do the squid farm first. That way it can kind of passively run as we do everything else, and we should have a ton of sack at the end of the project. Let's go, I cannot wait to have a ton of sack. Yeah! This farm is also incredibly simple. First, we start out with a little platform of magma blocks to fry the squid. Then, using some waterlogged stairs and slabs, we can make little water columns where the squid can spawn, and that's effectively the entire farm. But we need a way to collect the items, obviously. So under the farm, I'll build out another platform with some rails, and using a little contraption designed by Ilmongo, we can deploy a hopper minecart that'll pick up all the drops from the farm and then drop them into a water stream that we can then direct to some chests down below. Okay, the farm should be fully functional now. I've got a little AFK platform up here that we can wait at. Let's give it 15 minutes and see how much sack we're working with. Oh, wow, okay. That's actually pretty good. I was a little worried that the drops would be awful because technically this farm is supposed to be built over a river and not an ocean, and I'm kind of maybe slaughtering a bunch of dolphins for literally no reason, which diminishes the rates a little bit, but this is still pretty good, so I'll take it. But what won't have diminished drops is the glow squid farm I want to build next. We already have a normal squid farm, so I might as well build a glow squid one too, since it's so simple, and it only took me a measly 8 minutes, I mean hours. Because for this farm to work, the spawning platform has to be lower down, which means when I AFK the farm, mobs can spawn in the normal ocean. And because I'm stubborn, I will not just build the farm somewhere else, so I spent 8 hours filling out all the spawnable space with glass so nothing could spawn. Time very well spent. With the farms both done, I gave it another 30-minute test, and running both of the farms at the same time slows the rates for the normal sacks quite a bit, but I still got a lot of glow sacks, so we're good. Just gotta run the farms one at a time, depending on what I need. With the squid farms now functional, I built a quick outline around them for what will become the decorative build for the farm, just to make sure it doesn't clash too much with the surrounding terrain or anything. All right, that's technically our first functional component done. Now on to our second, which are fans. It's been a bit of a trend recently to integrate animated redstone machines into your builds in a building style dubbed Buildstone. I first saw this kicked off by the YouTuber Jake Kelton, and it's been innovated on a lot by a bunch of others since then. And my favorite part about a lot of the machines people have come up with is how simple they are. Even if you completely suck at redstone, you can still build a lot of these things too. I promise. All right, the first fan is built. Let's see if it works. Okay, and it does, and it's awesome. This specific fan was designed by Jazzy Red, so I'll link him in the description, but there's a ton of different ways that you can build redstone fans like this. I just like how this redstone fan has kind of a warped effect from the speed. One fan, of course, is definitely not enough though, so let's build a bunch more of them across the frame of the building. Then we'll wire them together so they can all be turned on and off from a single location. Oh yeah, this looks really good. And once we have all the other machines built, I can wire them all together and connect them to the top of the dam, where we'll build a centralized control room. Okay, the next machine I want to build isn't quite as impressive as the fans, but it's a big pixel art of a squid to put on the outside of the squid farm building. And what makes it a machine is that the eyes can actually light up on and off. Yeah, awesome. I really just needed something to denote that the building was a squid farm and not just a random building with no purpose. But hey, it looks good. Next, I want to build a very high-tech door as an entrance to the dam building. And for the sake of simplicity, I went ahead and built the main entrance part of the building entirely instead of waiting for phase 3 so that I could neatly integrate the door with the rest of the building. And that is a very big door frame. Definitely enough space to build whatever door I want. So next up was to find a good door design. So I hopped on YouTube to search around, and similarly to the fans, I want to try to showcase things that are a bit more simple and easy to build or understand. Because I know when watching a Minecraft video, you're looking to get ideas, to get inspired and motivated to build something cool in your own world. And sometimes you see something cool that you want to build in a video, but it's just too complex. Like you shouldn't need an engineering degree to build something cool in Minecraft. Anyway, here's the design I found. It's like 2,000 blocks, so a little on the lower side, which is good. And the frame is 9 by 9 blocks and opens in less than a second, which is perfect for the dam entrance. So I got to work building it in survival, and it definitely didn't take almost 8 hours to build, and I definitely didn't break it multiple times. I am a qualified professional, and I know what I'm doing. Okay, it should be good now. It better fucking work. Step on this to open it. Okay. And then step on the other side to close it. Oh my god, yes. Finally. I didn't fuck it up. Let's go! With the main door now fully operational, I wanted to take a break from being in the pit for so long, so I headed up top to build the next set of machines, flags, which are machines because just like with the fans, we'll use redstone to make them actually wave in the wind. This design was made by Jake Kelton, who I mentioned earlier, and they look super cool. After building all of them, I wanted to start wiring everything to the control room since there's going to be a lot of wiring. And to do that, I need to build the control room. And to be able to build the control room, I need to be able to access the control room. And that's where the true purpose of this giant hole that we dug at the beginning comes into play. I have a personal rule in my world that I need to be able to walk to every location. It may take a while to get to some places, but it should always be possible. This way, I can't trap myself like an idiot if my elytra were to break or if I were to run out of fireworks. And so I need to be able to get from here to here. I could use ladders, but that's boring and way too slow, so I'm gonna build an elevator. The fastest and smoothest elevator possible in the entire game. as far as I know. So I finished digging the hole to reach the surface of the ocean, and it was time to look for a design. And this is what I found. This is a 93 floor, max speed, perfectly smooth elevator, where you can go from one floor to any other floor at any time, and also summon the elevator from any floor. This thing was designed by the YouTuber Tomko, and it is a marvel of redstone engineering. However, there's one issue. I am stupid. So this design is way too complex for me to build without putting a hole through my monitor due to frustration. Trust me, I tried. But I was convinced that I could take the elevator part and separate it from the part that lets you pick which floor it goes to make a much more simple point-to-point elevator without punching a hole through anything. So I got to work retrofitting the design, and after hours of stretching my tiny little brain to figure everything out, the new Wilds modified Tomko elevator was complete. This modified design is modular, so you can extend or shrink the start and end points for whatever you may need, and also has a built-in summoning mechanism to bring the elevator to the floor you're on if the elevator isn't there. And it's extremely easy to build in survival. Okay, and it's all done in survival. Let's test it out. As you can see, the elevator works flawlessly. Fuck. The jitteriness of it and the fact that you take damage as it moves down is just because Minecraft doesn't handle the block player entity syncing very well when we're moving that quickly. But luckily, there's a mod to solve this issue called Game Speed. It doesn't change the game itself or anything, just makes pistons operate more visually smoothly and fixes that syncing problem. And now, this is what it looks like. Okay, yeah, that's how it's supposed to move. With the elevator complete, we can finally build the control room. But first, I want to build the last set of machines to wrap up phase 2, which are the floodgates. I'll have two types of them spread across the dam, a central larger floodgate in the middle here, which will serve as the main floodgate, and then smaller auxiliary floodgates in the form of white water spouts that I'll spread across the dam wall. I'll build the spouts first because they're much easier to build, just a big PVC pipe really, and the mechanism to activate the water flow is incredibly simple. Just pistons that move back and forth. Genius. But it does what I need. Okay, and that's the spouts done. They look fantastico. Okay, now the last machine we need to build is the central floodgate in the middle. At first, I thought the designing for this would be pretty straightforward. It's basically just 3 sliding 10x10 doors originally designed by Mumbo, and I thought I could just flood behind the doors with water, but when I did that and then opened them, the water would just fall down and break the doors. So to solve this, I created a system that would contain the water in dispensers and then fire on a delay after the doors opened, allowing the water to flow out. And then when closing the doors, the dispensers would fire instantly to remove the water. There's probably a more simple way of creating this that I just completely missed, but I'm gonna pretend that I'm smart and there isn't. Now to build it in survival. First, I grabbed a bunch of blocks to build the outside of the gate where the water would actually flow, and then after that, I started on the actual sliding doors themselves. And after many frustrating hours spent retrofitting that elevator, this redstone machine was insanely simple in comparison, so I got it done pretty quickly. Okay, that's the floodgate built. To activate it, I went ahead and built some wiring here as an on and off switch that'll go up to the control room here. And with the gate completed, phase 2 is officially complete. To kick off phase 3, I'll start with the control room, of course, as I need to wire everything into it. I came up with this really sleek design for it that I really like that also overlooks the statue and the mountains. I also went ahead and installed 4 more fans higher up on the dam, which I meant to do earlier, but forgot to. With that done and the control room set up, I went back to the bottom of the dam to cover up the rest of the exposed bedrock as mobs kept spawning in these little crevices, which was getting super annoying to deal with. Next, I started to build a ridge at the bottom of the dam that'll connect to the main center building and serve as a drainage area for the center floodgate. I finished the sides first and then decided I actually kind of want to do the squid farm building before I do the center building, because once I do the center building, I'm going to want to do the rest of the dam, and I don't want the squid farm to accidentally clash with the wall because I didn't do it first. So I started out by building a small industrial building to serve as a storage room with this little overhang that I thought could be used as some sort of loading dock for the hundreds of loads of ink sacks that would be pouring out of this place. I also like how one of the drainage pipes literally goes through the building, makes it feel like it's kind of part of the dam. Next, for the farms themselves, I already had this frame built around them with the squid pixel art too, and I didn't want to just wall off the entire thing because then I thought it would appear way too bulky. So I built more of a slim concrete tower in the center to encase both farms, and then built this industrial frame around it, which worked to both not make it appear too chunky and also to appear a lot more industrial in nature. And it let me leave this little access point in the back here in case I need to restart the collection minecart system. Anyways, next I went ahead and got to work on the full dam wall. To start, I had to remove some of the trees I built last episode, and I wasn't really sure how it would look blending in with the terrain, but as you can see, it ended up looking pretty good. It took a pretty long time to build up each layer, but as I built, the dam really started to come to life. Yeah, this might be the coolest thing I have ever built. The pillars at the top do a really good job to sell the scale of this place. It is enormous, but we're not done yet. Next up, we have the center building here. I started by covering up all the fans before filling out all of the stone for the rest of the building. Then I connected it all up to the rest of the dam, and in these little trenches on each side, I'll build out these big red pipes to act as drainage pipes into the ground so that the water has a believable place to go, and also to add a little bit more scale to the build. And with that, the outside of the dam is pretty much 100% complete. Let's see here. Is there anything else I can add? You know what? I'll extend the pillars here to the mountain, and I'll do that on both sides. And then where the dam meets the ocean, I'll cover the old sand wall with deep slate to make it all look clean. All right, yeah, this looks a whole lot better. While I was doing that, I also realized the grass here looks a little bit too plain to go with the dam. So I want to quickly detail the entire place to concatenate the dam with the rest of the nearby structures. I laid out the roads first to connect everything, and then added little details to the edges like these rocks and moss carpet so that everything would naturally blend with the environment. I also threw up a couple trees and a bunch of street lamps. And the final result looks way better than it did before. I am very happy with how this all turned out. Okay, now we just got to do the inside. I've already built out a little walkway with some lights to avoid mob spawns, which isn't working. But for the rest of the room, I want to go with more of an open floor plan. There's not really much of a purpose for this space besides just looking cool and to house machines. So I'll just cover all the machines with a simple glass box so you can still see the intricate machinery that makes it work. Very nice. Maybe in the future, I can turn this place into like a bulk storage of some kind for the squid farms and the clay farm. But until then, it'll just stay empty. Next, I designed these really cool looking pipes using yellow concrete, bamboo stairs, and birch trap doors, along with some buttons to look like bolts. And I think I'll just scatter these across the room. And then finally at the back here, before we get to the elevator room, I'll build the logo for White Cliff Technology.
White Cliff Technologies, building a more efficient tomorrow today.
And with that, the lobby is finished. Now for the elevator room. Unlike the lobby, this place I want to give more of like an industrial vibe since it's more like a back maintenance room. So I lined the walls with a bunch of support framing. And before we cover the place with too many details, I'll finish setting up all the wiring and connecting it all up to the control room. Okay, nice. Now with the wiring set up, let's finish the rest of the details. First, on the wall, we add pipes, and then around the elevator, a big glowing red ominous design that just looks sick. And then I had some extra space available to install some massive batteries for the dam to charge up over time. Very cool. And with that, the inside is complete. And now, last but not least, we set up the control room. The thing about the control room though is it's basically just 3 buttons. So to make it appear more extravagant, I set up this highly detailed control console, which makes it look a lot more impressive. Now for the rest of the room, I don't want to leave it all open like the lobby since the only purpose of this room is to control the dam. So I set up various large computer towers, making the place look like a big server room, which I thought was really cool. Why a hydroelectric dam would need a massive server room is a mystery, but it looks cool. And with those final touches, the build is officially 100% complete. Now all that's left to do is make sure the dam works. I'll turn on shaders for this, of course. And first we start with the main entrance. Okay, good. Still works. Now we make our way across the lobby and into the maintenance room. Walk down the bridge to the elevator. We'll call it down. Okay, everything's working so far. Now just ride the elevator up. Okay, the elevator is good. Now just up these stairs. What the fuck is that? Hold on. Wait, yo, stop. Wait, stop.
Begin the plan. It's time to begin the plan. You have been chosen. Salvation lies in the eternal pursuits of industry. Construct the 3 keys, and we will open the door.
What the hell was that? Huh? Begin the plan? Construct 3 keys? Open a door? Who the hell is this guy? What is he talking about? How did he? Wow, I'm in a single you know what? I'm sure it's not important. Let's finish testing the dam. Now up here at the control console, we can activate the flags first. Okay, good. They seem to be working. Now let's turn on the fans. Okay, good. All functional. Nice. And now for the floodgates. Water spouts activated. Okay, good. And then finally, the center floodgate. Opens up nicely and everything works. Yes. Okay, let's close it back up now. Hello? Why isn't this thing work? Oh God.